Hello, welcome back. Once again, it is time. Actually, it is time for the final edition of the Golden Age of DC Comics. 365 days where we have taken this hardcover coffee table book given to me, or given to us, about 2 decades ago by one of our best friends, Peter Fernandez. This is true. He gave it to a good friend of mine, Dane. Peter, that Christmas, had also given me a blank art book. And so, yeah, Dane was my roommate. We were all hung out. It was a good time. It was like a sitcom, man. Living in the cities, 2003, single. You know, it was early 30s, legendary. It was like a sitcom. Seriously, it was wonderful. I moved out of that wonderful apartment, and another buddy of mine moved in. So when they were all leaving the apartment, Aaron, the other buddy, was like, "Hey, Sully, you want to come up and there's anything that anyone left behind that you want to grab?" And I said, "Sure." So I came up, and lo and behold, on the coffee table, they left behind this book. And it's not throwing stones. It's more of just observation. It's just like, I remember like when Peter gave, was given presents. I was like, oh, I wish I had that book. Can we swap? I didn't ask if we could swap. I love my art book. I still have it. I draw in it, quite infrequently, but it's there with some color pencils and some Sharpies and a protractor and a ruler. Art, because I occasionally can make some art. And this is what the show's about, is art. So that's the story of how one of my best friends gave me this hardcover coffee table book about 20 years ago. And it's actually a few different best friends. It started with Peter, to Dane, to Aaron, to Emily, all who were all part of this experience. And which ended up on my coffee table, which is ironically Peter's wife's old coffee table. They were giving it away. And I'm like, "You want our old coffee table?" I'm like, "Sure." So the front end of my show is a huge, deep personal reference for a few of my best friends, notably Peter Fernandez in particular. God bless you. I love you, Peter. I feel loved and loved. And I'm an only child, but God has blessed me with so many brothers and sisters. And Sláinte, thank you. So this hardcover coffee table book was given to me about 2 decades ago, given to us at this point. It was provided us with a year long of comic book shop style conversations. The kind we literally recreate every day with this show. We're going to be going on doing something else next year, and starting tomorrow. Yeah, we're just going to keep going, and we're going to keep hanging out. I'll keep seeing you at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern daily. Tune in. It's also a great thing to see your own live chat when you're a new YouTuber. Being part of your own live chat at your own premiere is great. I get comments. I've cultivated an audience. You guys, yeah. And so spread the message. Let's talk to people who want to talk about comic books. So we're using this beloved hardcover coffee table book. And what goes better with coffee table books? Coffee table talk? I did the long pour, but I didn't say, well, grab a cup of your favorite and pull up a chair to our coffee table. Ah, that's delicious. And pull up a chair. This is a 2004 Abrams publication, written and curated by Chip Kidd, Les Daniels, and Jeff Spear. Yeah, Jeff Spear. No matter how many times I've read this, I still have the ability to mess it up. This has been a constant source of comic book shop style conversation for us all year long, and I'm very grateful for it. I don't have any show notes today. Pika, show them your show notes, Pika. We were going to do a wrap-up show tomorrow. Nah, we're just going to go forward. Let's do it. Indeed. Let's get to it. Let's open up this book to today's date, which is December the 31st. It's the last day of the year. Heck, I barely mentioned the year all year long, so I'm going to try to get away with republishing this content again next year and reusing it. Seeing how far I can, Like, hey, look, you got new comments today from new people. Yes. It's a show meant for comic books fans, from a noob to a veteran. As being a professional chef, I know this about my trade, that I now know about my hobby, that I am continually a student, and I will always be learning new stuff about my trade, cooking, being a chef. And I continue to be learning about comic books. This is great, and we're going to continue this. So from noob to veteran, there's always something we learn. The story is always new if we haven't opened that book up yet. Cheers. Let's get to it. I hope that you are clobbering your problems and not being clobbered by them. Yep, it's art by Vin Sullivan. We're ending the year with a Sullivan. Isn't that cool? From the cover of More Fun Comics, issue number 28, January of 1938. And it's Baby New Year busting through the calendar of 1937. And it's quite simple. It's quite appropriate. It's quite a good place to have a last page for this book. And let's read the blurb. Let's read the blurb, please. New Year's Eve. A year has come and gone. And we end as we began with another early cover by DC early editor Vin Sullivan. This particular New Year's baby is past retirement age by now, but at least we have come full circle. Then again, has anyone ever explained what's so great about coming full circle? Shouldn't we be making progress itself? Is getting through another year the best we can hope for? Don't brood about it. Go to a party, kiss someone. That's a nice sentiment. I should do that myself. New Year's is past my bedtime. And look, we have acknowledgments and an index. Ooh. Let's see. From Les Daniels, he'd like to acknowledge his colleagues, Chip Kidd and Geoff Spear, Charles Cockman, their editor at DC, and Steve Corte of DC Licensed Publications. Just people. That's nice. This book is dedicated to my wonderful agent, Marilee Heifetz, because she's always right. And Chip Kidd has a... it does not appear that Geoff Spear has any words for us. But I can still remember swatting Charlie Cook. This is Chip Kidd. I can still remember swatting Charlie Cockman away like an earwig each time he tried to sneak the idea of this book into my brain. Somehow, he found his way in there, and anyway, I have to say I'm thankful, at least now, I have an explanation for all the voices. Also, at DC Comics, a big thanks to Alan Asherman, Trish Stein, and Paul Levitz. Even though I claimed in the beginning that this book isn't an official history of DC's golden age, here's the real truth. If you read the whole thing, just like what we've done, that's what you'll end up with. Sneaky, isn't it? And of course, that's due to the uncanny histrionic powers of Mr. Les Daniels, who's forgotten more about comics than most of us will ever know. The real hero of this book, and here we go, is Geoff Spear, whose not-so-secret identity is cameraman. Not even rampaging wall gremlins can stop him. That's nice. That's good to know that Geoff Spear was our photographer and took pictures of these comic books. These, like I said before, comic books are usually like this. And this book is on its side, so it's not actual pages of comic books. They're photographs blown up of different aspects of the page, the cover of. We're gonna end it with just a couple more pages here. We got one. We got some William. We got some Harry H. Peter, written by William Moulton Marston. And we have an ad page. Like as I like to say, like this was the ancient internet. You know, if we got some young viewers here, this like these monthly publications would have these advertisements where you could mail away with a self-addressed stamped envelope where they will mail you back using that same SASE, that envelope, their catalog of things to purchase. This was the ancient internet. This was ancient eBay. You know, this is ancient Amazon. You would get a list of back issues and of model kits or posters that are available. Yeah, and here's some Wonder Woman. Gracefully as an airplane, Wonder Woman drops to the ground and races away with her human burden to a secluded spot. Ooh, maybe this is the secret Amazonian mating ritual, kind of like Borat and the engagement bag, where you would put the bag over the lady and you would run away with her. These were earlier attempts at humor before the world changed, before the dark times, before the empire. Oh, this can't be real. I must be dreaming. Yeah. Here we go. That's some Harry Peter art. And we end with some Batman and Robin. And a giant death trap for Robin. Look at that. Isn't that great? And we've closed the book. On the Golden Age of DC Comics, 365 days. There is a link in the description to its Amazon page if you would like your own copy. It will look great on your coffee table. You can play along at home next year. You can, starting tomorrow. You can get your own copy. And it'll be good all year long. And it makes a great gift for a geek. I know. It's been a real pleasure reading this book with you and making this content all year long. It's taught me how to be a better YouTube creator. It's taught me how to have a shoot day, how to slow down when I speak so I enunciate more distinctly. It's been an opportunity to curate a fine audience of people. We're only getting bigger. Onwards and upwards, that's what we say. And it's been a great ride. And next year we have a show about valuing our comics, I guess. We're going to learn how to grade comics using the Overstreet price guide. The Overstreet guide to grading comics. We have the most current Overstreet price guide. We're going to... my long boxes severely need some love. They really do. What better time, what better excuse to have some content and talk about some comic books than a bag, board, and boxing show. I've seen them. They're fun. I mean, there's nothing in the world like seeing a couple of rabid comic book fans with deep, silver, bronze, and copper age collections, and they're just going through them. And they're rebagging new bags. They're reboarding new boards. And they're reboxing their comic books. I'm using short boxes this time around. It's funny. The older we get, the absolute heavier these long boxes get. These long boxes are stuffed, full. Several of them. They're so heavy. And since I'm hitting the refresh button on my how I maintain my collection, I'm going with short boxes this time. Also, by going through and we're going to check out each comic. We're going to use this book and just remember, I am not a professional comic book grader. There are several places where to do that. And we can list them all, and we'll talk about them all. They're part of the conversation. Yeah, it's just nothing like in the world like the smell of fresh cardboard. Yeah, and so I guess since it's the end of the year, should we do an obligatory best of? I don't really have... do I have a best of... It's 2022. We're going into 2023. So do I have a best of 2022? Maybe. I definitely started buying comic books again from my local comic book shop. That's been fun. My local comic book shop is located in Davis Square, Somerville, Massachusetts. They're also a vintage toy store. I believe that since we got out of the lockdown 2020, and we've lost so many restaurants and mom and pop shops, and we've lost a lot of comic book shops, that it's more important than ever to go to our local comic book shops and spend money. Yes, keep them in business. We have a symbiotic relationship. We keep them in business. They keep us in stories, old and new. From one of your oldest vintage toys, you know, this is one of my oldest friends, in a way. Reunited with. Because of that store. To being able to get old back issues and new comic books and be part of a comic books community, IRL, in real life. When you go to an actual comic book store, we don't fight like we do on social media. There's no place for that. We don't behave like that indoors. We don't snap at each other. We don't call each other names. We don't, there is no bickering. There is no aisle. There are aisles in the store, but there is no aisle to cross ideologically speaking. I think it's more about behaving yourself and not I feel weird wearing my all caps comics gear, and living in my all caps comics hoodie. I love it. It's so comfy. It's nice. And I love that, EVS's channel and his sense of humor and his art. And for anyone that just the whole culture war thing, we avoid that on this show. There are plenty of other shows that cover that. This show is not about the culture war. It's not about soys versus incels. It's not about red pills versus blue pills, and it's not about who's CG and who's in a whisper network. This is not what this show is about. This show is about celebrating our love of comic books. I guess the funny book that I was most pleased with all year long is gotta have been Flash by Jeremy Adams. I've gotten the most of it. I've gotten 7 issues out of 12 this calendar year. Batman by Chip Zdarsky is pretty darn fun. Geoff Johns is returning to DC Comics to make Neo Golden Age characters, what he's really good at. These same characters we've been talking about that are 80-year-old IPs that have started this whole idea of multiverse. The whole thing of multiverse started right here on Earth 2. They were here first. Yeah, but that's like a comic book joke. That's comic book gnosis. Let's see. Anything else? Night of the Ghoul by Scott Snyder and Francesco Francavilla. This is amazing. Good stuff. These two have appeared a few times together. I love Francavilla's art. I love Scott Snyder's storytelling. I love you, Scott Snyder. I do. See, I got into an actual scrap with him on social media, and he never blocked me. He asked me to stop being shit, and I did. I thought that took balls and respect for him to just reach out and hit me up on a Gmail off panel. Yeah, I mean, thank you, Marvel creators, for making me choosy of where I spend my money. I just outright refuse to spend my money with Marvel Comics. It's why we always check our mic. I'm like, what? That thing is not on mute, is it, Pika? But yeah, I will start off the show though. I want to hopefully we can see this. Yeah, I can see that. If I can see it, you can see it. All right. See that little rumple right there? Okay. Okay, look at that corner. And thank you for... we're going to be figuring out the show, the camera, as we go along. So look at that corner. It's already a little dinged up. Look at that corner. Seriously, these are things that... So, this was a $5.99 comic book. This is issue 1, A Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, 2022 DC's huge crisis event, of which I bought it. We're going to get into my Crisis long box, one of the first things that we rebag and try to evaluate its price, because there are a couple of components to it. I have every issue of 52, which was a weekly comic book done in the mid-2000s. Amazing. But do I read it? Would it serve me better if I sold it? How much is it worth? What kind of condition is it in? So we're going to find out these questions. So I'm going to go through my new book and find out what would the grading of this book be. See, it can't be near mint because like I said, this whatever this is, I must have bought it like that. I mean, I didn't even notice it. How could that have happened? I did not roll this one up and put it in my back pocket. But they've been loose for months. So, yeah, little things like these dinged up corners will reduce the value of your funny book. And as it was said, interesting. In Game of Thrones, when Ned Stark squared off against Arthur Dayne, Sword of the Dawn, so it begins. Something like that, right? All right, here we go. I need to find out if it matters what side. I think the slick side of the board. This board says it's coated on one side. So we have a shiny side and a matte side. And you can tell which part is coated. So it's shiny. Can we see that? I can see that right there. As opposed to the matte finish, which is uncoated. So I'm going to put the coated side on the side of the... There we go. I could fold and tape at this point too. Not today. We're just going to get started. And this was this has been our first board and box of the new show. Yeah, and this is what we're going to do. And we're going to learn how to value our comics and stow them properly using the materials that we need to be going to our local comic book shop and buying. We don't need to be buying them off of Amazon. We need to support our local comic book shop. So please, Support. Find where your local comic book shop is. Talk to the people at the registers and the managers, and they can help. And they're good people, and they talk comic books, and they know their stuff. And thank you so very much for tuning in. We've got another year's worth of content coming next year. This has been a blast. Thank you so very much. This has been the golden age of DC Comics, 365 days, where we took this hardcover coffee table book and we talked comic books every day this year. We left our problems behind for a few minutes and we tuned in to a comic book station and we just talked about what we love for a few minutes. We got to get back to our days now and take care of our problems. We got to clobber our problems, lest they might clobber us. But we can take a break for a few minutes in a day, and just enjoy this stuff. Thank you so very much. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. We will see you again in this funny page tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. The new show starts up. Cheers. Thank you so very much. We'll see you there. Bye-bye.